everybody, welcome to Teach 390. This video is going to be about the document-based essay. As I've been reading the essays that were submitted via email over the weekend, I'm noticing some of you are making the same mistakes. It's going to clear up anything you may not understand and also provide you with some tips to help you write your best essay. The essay only requires 5 paragraphs. So if you're like Andrew and you like to write, this is not the time to do that. Save that for your exit project. As you all know, the purpose of the document-based essay is not to see how much you write. It's for you to demonstrate how well you work with documents. It also demonstrates your ability to write about historical concepts and make connections between text and the real world. Documents are only mentioned in the body paragraphs. Be sure to use outside information to enhance your essay. Be sure to use the New York City Performance Assessment Rubric. It has the 7 traits that you will be graded on. And if you use it as a guide, you are guaranteed to write a bomb essay. What are the components of a document-based essay? Well, your essay must be 5 paragraphs. You must reference the documents and follow the format of the Performance Assessment Rubric. Each paragraph must be a minimum of 10 sentences. If you use outside information, you'll be guaranteed to get 10 sentences very easily. How do I construct the intro? Well, the intro has 3 parts: the topic sentence, the main idea, and a thesis statement. When writing your thesis statement, you may insert your counterclaim to strengthen your thesis. See Rubric Trait 2 to help you understand the importance of the counterclaim. Most people feel that starting the essay is the hardest part, but with document-based essays, it's extremely easy because the task covers the thought process for you. What you really need to do is think about what your task is. For this essay, you'll be discussing problems and injustices and also explaining the reforms that were proposed. Those 2 pieces of information right there will help you write your intro. Here's an example. The Progressive Era was a time of change for America. People band together to correct the social problems that were created by the Industrial Revolution. With the help of muckraking journalists and concerned citizens, American society and government progressed into the representative democracy that we have today. Reformers used various methods to address the injustices of society and to create a more balanced and fair system. Here you can see that I've underlined the key words that came directly from the task. If you use outside information to help you build your introduction, it will be a smooth and easy transition through each sentence. For the body paragraphs, this is probably the easiest part because here is where you're allowed to reference the documents. But there are rules. The first rule is there's levels to using documents. Rule number 2. Do not explain or analyze documents. Chances are the person who will be reading your essay has also read the documents, or they already know what's in the documents. Do not copy documents directly into your essay because, again, we already know what the documents are. We just want to see whether or not you're able to utilize that information and write about it effectively. Rule number 4, organize your documents before attempting to write about them. Rule number 5, decide what outside information you will use. While in class, we explored several documents that helped us learn more about the Progressive Era. Do you remember the Rattle Protocol? Well, documents 1 through 6 about Tammany Hall and documents A through C about societal problems provided you with a wealth of information that can be used for your essay. You may also use study guides 21.1 and 21.2, but use them sparingly. Remember after completing the Rattle Protocol, where we took all of the answers to construct paragraphs? Well, you can take those very same paragraphs and use that information for your essay. It counts as outside information and it helps beef up the quality of your essay. How do I reference documents? Use the questions and the answers as anchors. First, consider the purpose of the question. Each question is designed to teach you a specific fact about history. Together, questions and answers create sentences that demonstrate your understanding of documents. For example, document 2. The question states, according to the chart, how did the percentage of working children between ages 10 and 15 change from 1890 to 1920? It is very explicit what they expect you to do. Look at the document and look at how the number changed. In order to use this document in your essay, there are several steps you have to do to make sure you do it correctly. You begin with a topic sentence. Use something that explains something about the way factories were managed or not regulated by the government. Then you can mention that children were allowed to work. You can even explain why children were allowed to work. At this time, you can introduce the document by writing how the Progressive Era reforms change child labor to make working conditions better. It's really up to you how you want your paper to sound, but this is just a little sketch of how it could look. When you reference a document, you're just providing your answer. Your answer should state the amount of children working decreased between 1890 and 1920 as a result of new labor laws. When putting this information together to effectively reference the document, you'll be demonstrating your clarity of this concept. You could even use outside information and connect the past with the present. This is a sample of how a paragraph may look. Progressive reformers wanted the government to regulate or supervise industry. At one time, it was common for children to work in coal mines and garment factories. The owners benefited from letting children work because they were able to fit in smaller spaces, and they could let them work for long hours for very low wages. Some were even beaten if they fell asleep on the job. Child laborers were common because of poverty, and there were no laws that stated children had to go to school. This was all changed during the Progressive Era, as shown in Document 2. The amount of working children decreased between 1890 and 1920 as a result of new labor laws. Children are still protected by child labor laws today. We are only allowed to work a certain amount of hours per day. Work cannot interfere with school, and managers must pay children fair wages. Prior to the Progressive Era, these abuses were legal and many workers suffered. Here you can see how I separated the answer to show different components that are necessary according to your rubric. In the first part of the answer, I used outside information. That's the purple section. In the red section is your question and your answer. And finally, the extended thinking is the section that you guys need to use to demonstrate that you understand what you've learned and how it connects to the present. For the conclusion, all you really need to do is summarize what you've just proved in your essay. It sums up everything and demonstrates your understanding of history, analysis of events, ability to see multiple sides of an issue, and the ability to make connections between the past, present, and possibly the future. It does not repeat your introduction. You begin with a topic sentence, just like every other paragraph. Then you mention something about how people, or average citizens, united to change or improve American society. Do you remember this statement? The one about children now being protected by labor laws? Well, these are the type of sentences that you may extract portions of to add to your conclusion. When you have several sentences like this put together, they create an amazing conclusion. Finally, you need to decide what thoughts or ideas you want to leave your reader with. Did you have an aha moment while writing this essay? Were you confused? Do you still have questions? Were you able to identify your counterclaim? Because counterclaims strengthen your argument. So if you didn't put it in the introduction, you might want to add it at some point in your essay. Putting your counterclaim in your conclusion, however, can provide some strength to your argument as well. Bear in mind that your rubric, Trait 7, says historical information and concepts. You must demonstrate that you have accurate and relevant historical information, and you must use all of that information to strengthen your argument and evidence. While you're writing your essay, you need to consistently support the claim, and your claim goes right back to your task. Make connections between documents and accurately identify all primary and secondary sources. For these documents, there is a secondary source. You should be able to identify that. In quoting the documents, always give it a citation, according to Document 2 or in Document 2. So this completes my learning support video for the document-based essay. Hopefully it answers all of your questions and you're able to complete a fabulous essay. You can always email me with any questions, and see you guys soon.